Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to Stitching by the Shore, my channel all about cross stitch with a little bit of paper crafting thrown in too. If you are new, I'd like to say welcome. Thank you so much for pressing play. I hope you like what you see. Maybe hit like and subscribe, and I would love to know what you like to stitch and maybe what you're stitching right now. And if you're a returning stitching friend, thank you so much for being here. Thank you also for pressing play. There's so many Flosstubers, and I so appreciate you hanging out with me whenever you get the chance. What are you working on? What's new? What's going on? I love to hear all of that from each of you. So thank you so much for that. Before I jump into my projects, I do want to say a very huge thank you. Yesterday was my actual birthday, and I received Instagram posts and messages and emails and texts and all sorts of lovely wishes all over the social media, not even social media, just the web, right? And thank you so much, each and every one of you who did that. Thank you if you're stitching on something that is pumpkin birthday, for doing so for my birthday stitch along. Remember, it's birthday month, so we are still stitching pumpkins. I still might have a couple more starts. You just don't know what's going to happen, so stay tuned. And if keep going with those pumpkins at least to the end of the month, and hey, we can just roll right into November with them. But we can celebrate somebody else's birthday at that point. But thank you so much, everybody. I do appreciate all of that. It was a quiet-ish day, but I got a chance to stitch with some friends on Zoom, so I really did enjoy myself. So thank you. Alrighty, so projects. They may not have maybe as much progress as I normally do this weekend for Whip Warriors, which is a challenge group that is on Facebook. Great news, it has been closed through this year, but there is a video that just came out and they are going to leave it as an open group starting in 2026. So I'm not sure when it's opening. I didn't get to see the very end of the video. Things have been very piecemeal here with the dog, but I saw a majority of it. And so that's super exciting as a way to, if you would like to experience Whip Warriors, if you missed out on that little section of time when it was open, you won't miss out in 2026. So hopefully that would be fun if you could join. There's so many great challenges and things to do on there. But there was Whip Frenzy this weekend to coincide with 24 hours of cross stitch, and I didn't get a lot done. I'm not even going to show you in the order. Basically, Whip Frenzy, you decide 100, 200, and I think there's a higher level too of number of stitches and how many pieces in the weekend can you touch. And I did get some stitching done this weekend, even with people here, but it was kind of piecemeal and everything else. So it's just everything's going to be in however you see it. There's going to be no order or anything like that this week. I got one tiny finish, which you probably would know what it is if you were here last week, and I did have one start. Caveat there, I did have a start yesterday for my birthday, but I generally don't show Thursday stitching because I already usually have everything not set to go, but it's already kind of set aside by Thursday afternoon, and that's when I started it. So you'll have to wait till next week, and maybe I'll try to get some more stitching into it. So, all right, so let's get going. I definitely have the itchy nose. The Flosstube itchy nose is really strong right now. Alrighty, so the first piece I'm going to show you, I'm going to do my whip into shape piece first. I'm halfway through Andrew's video. Andrew is the runner stitcher. Let me write down on my notes. Again, I am sorry if I normally do comments and I'm not even going to say sorry. I know you understand. I am going to say thank you for your understanding. With the puppy, I don't get the chance to see videos in full, and so I'm trying to watch them piecemeal, and I'm trying to get through them, but then I'm also can't always comment. So I'm watching, and I'm also behind, to be honest with you, because there's less I can watch, but I am doing my best with that. But I am watching as much as I can. So if I generally watch your video, then odds are I probably have watched it, or it's in my queue. However, so I've seen half of Andrew's video from this week so far. Exciting. We're well, at this point, today's Friday, so we're a week and 2 days away from his marathon. So Whip into Shape has been a challenge that he created to go along with his marathon training. And for every mile he runs in training, we stitch 10 stitches. And I want to say it's over 2,000 since his training started for the New York Marathon at the very end of August. So that's super exciting because my piece was Spring Quaker by Lila Studio. Now, I show you that because if you've not seen it before, then you would see mine's very, very different. So I do like to show the original. These pieces by Lila Studio are beautiful. I just thought spring needed green as opposed to brown. I am embracing all the browns for autumn, but I kind of wanted this for spring. So this is what I ended up with. Now, this is the entire piece as a whole. As you've been watching me, if you have been, you know that I've been plugging away on this center part for the Whip into Shape. And I came to the realization last week that it's not going to get finished by marathon day or even the finish of the marathon, but that's okay. This pretty much, I don't even think I had much of I'd have to go back and see much of the basket. And that was like 2 weeks worth of stitching right there. Much of this has come during this training. So this time around, I decided to do this tree as a reference point because there's a couple houses here and then we had the house here. But I figured I could kind of count it off of that, get that in, and then I can kind of jump wherever I wanted, especially if there's the same similar colors in some of the houses. And then I got that done, and then I decided to come over here and do this house, some of the parts of that. I think this week it was 260 stitches. Might have been what, not what's been happening since now. I cut it off on Sunday, and then I think I stitched on Monday and Tuesday. It took me 2 days to get that. Oh, I don't have that book here with me. And I got just over 260. I was hoping I'd get, Monday was 4 miles, which would have been another 40. I was hoping to get 300, but it wasn't happening. So I just cut it off and said, okay, I'm done through Sunday. And then I pick up my stitching from there. So I have this full week's of stitching yet to do, and then we'll have one more. So I have 2 weeks of stitching going along with the training yet to do. So maybe I'll get this house done, which would be great. And then I'd have 2 more houses. There's some smaller flowers here, which I am debating on doing. If I do, I'm going to actually change I think I'm going to change the called for color on those. But I'm going to see what everything looks like and maybe throw in some, maybe not do all, but I want to get all the houses in and see what it looks like first. So there could be some more changes. I know I've been asked if I could provide the changes. I was, and then I've added more. So once everything is done, I'm happy to. Some of it, especially on the outer, like with the motifs here and the Quakers, those are like for like. This symbol was completely changed, this other symbol. However, then I did change the browns in the basket, which were the symbols, I think, also with the Quakers. So that's but that's different, obviously, because I wanted browns and I changed some of the flowers. So there is other changes to do, the bunnies. So once I have it all and I can sit down and kind of figure it all out, I'm happy to provide it. Thank you if you are interested in seeing what I did with my changes. Oh, and I forgot to tell you. So I am going to tell you that everything that you're going to see is 18 count this week, most weeks, right? Because that is my favorite. I just happen to like that. And so, and I have a lot of it now, so I need to use it. It would be wasteful if I didn't start using it. I have a few 16s, I have a few 820s, but for the most part, I choose 18. This is 18 count rose hips from Under the Sea Fabrics. But I did want to say there's a couple of my fabrics that I don't have for various reasons, whether it's I don't have the tags, maybe it's a one-off, maybe the company's not around anymore, lots of different things. So in those cases, I'm not going to tell you what the fabric is because there's no use telling you what the fabric is. At one point I did because of the secondary market, but the odds of finding 18. So anyway, if I don't say a fabric name, generally it means that it's just not something I have a tag for or a replica, whatever it happens to be. Sometimes I'll just innocently forget. And if you go to the description box, if I innocently forgot, it'll be there or whatever. But if it's one that, for whatever those various reasons are, I don't have that information to give you, then it won't say anything but 18 count. So that's the way you'll know. I'm not going to worry about it anymore. It was one of those things that I did used to, but there's so many options of colors and variations that you can find something similar. You can just use it as a guide. All right, next. I decided I would like to get this one. I think I could get it done by the end of this year. However, you know, we'll see how it works with challenges and things like that is where I'd really like to pull it out. This is You've Got This from the Artsy Housewife. And I did change the fabric color. I wanted something a little different. However, I did keep most of the called for. I did choose my own variegated for the top of the mug, and then the mug itself. I don't generally buy called fors. I just buy colors I like, and then I mix and match, either do DMC, or if I do throw in a variegated, it's just something I already own, and then I go from there. So that's how I attack it. Okay, here we go. You ready? I look so silly there. This is 18 count Modest May from Those Missing Stitches. And I focused on, first, I got the entire cup done. So yay. And there is some variegation. I didn't do max variegation techniques. And I'm happy with it though. Because I like a little bit more subtle. I don't like huge in your face unless it's a specific reason why I'm doing it. So this worked well for me. And then you'll see I've got all the words done. You got this. So now I just need to go back and fill that in. And then I just need to focus on this side. And this is pretty much just a repeat of that, except down here. The owl is completely done. So that's super exciting. I like this color. I kind of wanted something to play off of some of those really pretty blues. Periwinkle is that DMC. I don't think I changed that. I did have to do DMC. Let me see. If I did my own DMC, oh, I don't have the thing there, conversion, because I'm not sure. I think it was provided. It was. And I'm not sure if I changed any. I'll have to look and see. If it's something you would, if you were interested in and something looks different, let me know. The mug was blue steel from Pirate and Robin. I can tell you that. But generally what happens with the legend on this one, it has it looks like there's Classic Colorworks, Gentle Arts, Weeks Dye Works. And then below that, it shows you the DMC conversion with the name of whatever it is. And so I ended up putting the numbers, but I don't know if I changed any. I didn't put any notes. So I think this was the first time I used Pirate and Robin, and I really did enjoy it. I have another piece on the go with it. I believe it's my Modern Folk Embroidery Real Comfort, and totally different. You know, those are in the pinks, and so I'm really, really liking it and enjoying it. So I'm sure there'll be more Pirate and Robin in my future. So that's what it looks like. You got this, and I like that sentiment, especially right now as we're trying to potty train Bella. It's nice to know that I can just say to myself, you got this, right? Especially after, you know, you've been out for a bunch of times and then she has an exit in the house. All right, next. This piece I started in September and I cannot put it down. If you may hear, I'm hearing, it's probably the blower is what I'm guessing. The landscaper guys are out. They didn't mow though, so I'm not sure what they're blowing. Anyway, if you hear that in the background, just think of it as white noise. So Blackbird sampler from, this one is from Pansy Patch and Quilts. I started this with Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner in September, from Sampler September. And I just so enjoy it. Now I got less than I normally would on it, and I do really enjoy it. So you know my time was limited, but I do think I got a good 200 stitches in on it. I might have pulled this one out for the Whip Frenzy, and I try to get between 150 to 200 on the pieces when I pull them out. Now this is using a silk and it's a black, but I just kept seeing blue, and so I went blue with it. And let me just fold that a bit. Oh, I want to get all the edges. That's the end. Actually, let me go a little farther. That is the end edge there. So I'll make sure you see. So that's how wide it's going to be. I'm using a Threadworks, and I'm noticing with Threadworks, because I'm fairly new to Threadworks, that there are some solid colors, and then there's some that are variegated. And I have used, I don't know if, oh, I've used the variegated for some Christmas stuff, and this is the first, I think, solid-ish one I've done. I really enjoy using the Threadworks. I get the longer skeins, I think, what is it, 20 yards? I don't remember. And something like this, I figure this way I don't need to worry about it, because that should be plenty. And I like the feel of it. I like the way it stitches. It's just a thoroughly enjoyable experience with it. This is 18 count Celestial Tide from To Die For. And I'm going to bring it up a little bit. You can see there is some modeling, but it is fairly mild, a little stronger in the camera. And I completely finished this flower, I know, and then I told myself, get this one done. I didn't yet, but I'm getting there. I took a little sidetrack though. I had finished that and I said, oh, I want to get a couple numbers in. So I did the 1 and the 2. I think maybe I had a little bit of a strand left. That might have been it. And I bet you I did the 2 and then kind of did the 1 up. That's why. So I didn't want to waste that last piece. I generally, even with DMC, once in a while, it'll be a longer piece that I might be like, I'm done with, so I'm going to put it in the pile of threads. But I do my very best to use as close to the end as I possibly can. So that's where it is. And I'm not even going to predict whether or not you're going to see it again, because there's just something about it. I love the color. I love this kind of deep navy with the kind of the tealish, and it's a joy to stitch. So I'm just going to stitch I'm going to stitch on it when I want to. That's my theory anyway, or not my theory, my stitching mantra. I am a stitch what you want when you want, otherwise known as Sweewee Stitcher, and I will throw in the challenges and work on them when I can, but that's still, I don't know generally till the day of what I'm going to work on any given challenge. That way it truly is kind of very random and whatever I feel like on any given day. Now this one is also being done for a sports challenge. So this is a challenge piece I'm doing. I jumped off of the idea of the gridiron grind, which was started by Kim Hollenbach, and I'm going to put her down. I do have a gridiron piece, but I didn't work on it this past week. Clemson didn't do great, and so I was like, oh, I'll combine 2 weeks. So this one is for Aston Villa, which is a English Premier League soccer team, and I am done through the weekend. Sadly, they played yesterday. I was really hoping for a birthday win, and apparently they played terribly. We did not watch it. Generally now, Mo gets really worked up when they're not playing well and this and that. So we have learned, I keep track of the score, and through the course of the game, he's like, are we watching? Are we watching? And then at the end, I'll tell him, if it's a win, definitely watching. If it's a draw, most likely. If it's a loss, and if it's a bad loss, no way, we are not watching it. So anyway, I did not do the stitches for yesterday. However, they did not great, so it's going to be something like 75 stitches in the end. I'll just tack that on to whatever weekend stitches we've got this weekend. So this is Arabesque from Jan Hicks. And I'm just going to fold this part over a little bit, but let me hold it back. That's where it is. It's coming along. This one is definitely, I think, going to get a finish before the end of the season in May. I have you know what? I forgot to tell you, there is a set of dots around here, and I think I'm going to do them. However, I am going to carry them. So we'll see, because this is a darker floss on the lighter fabric. If it's very obvious that they're carried, then I might nix them and say no. There is kind of a pattern-ish with them, but I'm not sure how that'll work. It's kind of cute that way, and if you didn't know that they were there, you wouldn't know that they're missing. Then this time I really concentrated on letters, and so I had to finish the letter E. This right here is a page break, so this will always be a little tricky. I'm using a working copy because I bought this as a hard copy. So I made copies of the original, and I'm just marking off as I go. But, you know, page breaks are always interesting. So we have a page break here, and then somewhere around here we have like a 4-page break. But I finished that. I came over, I did the other key, the letter O, and then if I had had more time, I was going to finish the letter K, but I didn't. The O, the key, and the E finished off whatever amount of stitching I needed to get done from last week's game. I generally assign points for wins, lost, draw, clean sheets, goals, yellow cards, that kind of stuff. So whatever it adds up to, I try to do a little over that. However, I do at least that if I can. So that's what it looks like. This is a Stitchy Stuff Co. variegated floss. However, it's very subtle, and I don't think on the camera you'll see it as much as in person. You can see slight variegation, but I'm purposely doing that. I didn't want anything too strong on this piece. I wanted it very light and almost kind of in the background. I was inspired by her original, which is why I kept the colors fairly similar. There's so much room for variation on this one, and from colors of fabric and floss and multiple colors if you don't want to do monochrome. So have fun with it. There's a lot of different things if you enjoy that one. I am a big fan of Jan Hicks. I have a lot of her. I probably have maybe 4 or 5 on the go right now. And I so enjoy seeing other people stitch ones that I have not stitched, and I'm sure there'll be some more coming in my future. Okay, my finish. You're probably not going to be surprised when I tell you it's my mushroom and frog from the Sweet Mossy Home. This was a Quaternion Creations design in the Just Cross Stitch Summer 2024. Let me put that down so you don't see the pattern. Let me just show you the cover in case sometimes seeing the cover jogs memories. So that's the cover. That was this one. And I am doing this for my artist trading card swap. And I'm only doing the mushroom and the frog. So ignore that, ignore everything else. I'm going with, the choices for theme were earth and fire. And for me, mushrooms come, I just, as soon as I think earth, I do think mushrooms. So that's what I did. Now, as you remember from last week, I had quite a challenge on this one because it is charted in Treenway silks, and there is no alternative DMC or any other type of floss. So I had to do my own, and I couldn't find any charts. So I did my own kind of conversion, and I wanted to keep it similar to what hers was because I liked those shades. Like my frog could have been much greener if I wanted to, but I chose to keep it along those lines. So that's what he looks like. I had the mushroom done last week, and we got the frog in this week. And I don't know on the camera if you can see, there's actually 2 little shades of green on him, just some accents of the other one. I think in person, if you look closely. If not, that's all right. He's cute. So whatever, except for the black, everything else is a DMC conversion that I did. And this is on just a Vintage Country Mocha. Nothing fancy. I did like it on the white as shown, but I kind of wanted to do it again, kind of that earth tony sort of thing. And so these colors might have looked different if they'd been on a white rather than this anyway. I was hoping to have this also fully finished, but again, time, that did not happen. I'm going to put this over here because I want, actually, you know what? Yes, because I don't want to put it away and then not finish it. So I'm going to put that there. I'll put the magazine over here and put the bag over. All right. Try to keep things, my life is generally organized chaos, I feel like, and that includes here, so that after I'm done filming, I can generally still have an idea of where everything is. So that's always a good thing. Alrighty, what's next? I need to show you. Okay. This was a start last week, and you know, if I get a chance, I do like to do a little bit more stitching before it goes away, and then it kind of goes away for a little bit, hits in the rotations. Sometimes, like Blackbird Sampler, it's out more often than not. This is the no, not the, it's just Gothic bat. And it's from Yasmin's Made with Love. And with this piece, last Thursday? Or no, a few weeks ago, a couple weeks ago, I started with several friends a Yasmin's Made with Love kind of stitch along. I don't think we could just hashtag it Yasmin Sal or something. We didn't hashtag it. Mary from Mary's Stitching Corner, Karen D from Twitchy Stitcher, Karen R from the Stitching Owl, Melanie from Uplift Stitches, and I believe Mandy from Mandy Parker is also. So I'm just gonna write Yasmin friends so that I know who to link for you. Anybody I talk about, I do try to link their information down below so that you can go and watch their wonderful videos as well. I wanted to do this one in the black floss, but I wanted to change the fabric just slightly. It's not a huge in-your-face change, if you remember. It's just that kind of light purple, and that's probably really, yeah, that's probably a good representation of the purple. It's called Prehistoric from Fox and Rabbit, and I am using actually DMC Floche. I decided to do that rather than, I do like to use Anchor Black. However, I'm not opposed to 310 as well, but I do enjoy the Floche at times. So I decided we will do that, and that's what I did. And I brought some more over. I was thinking, oh, I'll go all the way across and that'll be awesome. However, it goes much farther than I realized. This is essentially the halfway mark. And I believe it's, let me look. Yes, it's symmetrical. So all that you see here, we have to flip and do over here as well. So I got at least halfway. I said, okay, that's good. And then I did a bunch kind of filling in here and then some down here around the bat as well. So just plugging along, I think doing pretty good. This one went very seamlessly into Pattern Keeper, which is generally what I use. I did ask Yasmin ahead of time. She was wonderful. She got back very quickly, said it should contact her if there were any problems. It went right in, and no problems at all. So that's good, because this one here, I mean, anything can be done with paper, right? I could just see myself skipping and making mistakes somewhere. And because of the intricate nature of it, it's really nice to have where I can mark off right away and see how I want to go with the stitching. So that's that. I don't know. I know next week is Halloween. In fact, I think next Friday. Yeah, because today's the 24th. So will you see this again? This is kind of like a Halloween-ish sort of piece. I don't necessarily think so, because there's other things I want to stitch, and I am constantly aware of the fact that I do not have as much time as I used to. Alrighty, this next piece, and see, you can tell I don't, because I'm not as up to date on my folder of whips as I should be, for my own reference, no other reason. This is another piece that I started with Mary. Mary and I like to stitch a lot of the same things together. We have the same sort of stitching taste, and her choices are always so beautiful. So I do encourage you to check her out. This is called Pumpkin and Crow. I keep calling it a raven in my notes, and it's from My Lovely Embroidery. I believe it's My Lovely Embroidery NB, but it doesn't say that there. It's an Etsy shop. And I am still not up on the fence, on the fence, over the fence. I was gonna say over the fence, but it's on the fence, about doing all of the extras. I'm going to stitch the three pumpkins, you know, the big one and the two little, and the crow, and then see what it looks like. I think it might be cute just that way. However, we'll see, and we'll make the final decision after that. But I just liked that part so much that's really what I wanted to focus on. And I just felt like stitching it again this week. And look at that crow, yes, right? Yeah, I keep second guessing myself, crow and raven. Isn't it fun? I have not done the eye yet. So the eye, that's the only spot I believe that there's some quarter, I think it's quarter versus 3/4 stitches. I have to go back and do some yellow there. I think the center of the eye is supposed to also have a French knot. You know my thoughts on those. My inability to do them. And yes, I've tried colonial, my inability to do them. So I just need a friend that will just French knot for me whenever I need to. But I do have to do that again. But I don't think I'm gonna do it until I pull that floss out from something else. I hadn't done it at the time, but I had some fill-in from the crow with the beak and the hat, and then I had all of that fill-in to do. And I think, except for the eye, oh, I do have a little bit more blue, but the black part is done. So this blue does get over here, and I had extra black, so that must be part of the pumpkin stem. I'm really enjoying the shading that she's using. It's not too many choices of floss, but it's just slight enough that it really kind of looks really nice. It's all DMC. Did I tell you this is 18 count Ashen tan from To Die For Fabrics? So that's it right there. And again, pattern keeper. So sometimes if I just feel like doing a little piece, I figure out which ones, sometimes especially at night, I pull out what's on, I'll pull out my tablet and I'll pull up pattern keeper and I'll just scroll through and say, what do I feel like doing? Because it's easier for me to see digital work at night than it is paper patterns. All right, this one is a possibility of a finish next week. We will see. This is October's Marigold, and it is from Cottage Garden Samplings. I was not going to do this week and just take a pass on finishing it by the end of the month. However, I did get some time in it, and I'm cautiously optimistic, I'll say. Now, if you look close, there's actually 2 shades of green in the original. I wasn't loving the second green on my fabric, and so I chose to just do it all in one. I think it's like 3362. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, and I do really like that green, especially for the cottage garden pieces. It works well, I think, from what I've chosen. So that's what you're going to see a change there. If you've done these before, mine might look a little different. And except for one little flower, which is like 6 stitches, I have got the entire flower section done. So that's it as a whole. Let me go this way for a second so I can show. That's the flowers. All of the greenery is done. I think right here, it's kind of like this, just a little set of couple colors, one of which I think is the color in the wording here. So that when I pull out that, then I'll just do that piece right there and just go from there. So what do I have left? I have the words, and this is one of the few that I did continue to do 2-tone. So that's really exciting. I'm glad I did that because it's kind of fun. Most of the others I either used variegated floss, so it would change, or I just did it monochromatic, the words. Now the one thing I don't think I'm going to do though is I'm not going to do, if you look real close, they're kind of like candy corns. Yeah, they are. But they're kind of flat and they almost look like the shape of bats. So it's a bit confusing. And I think it's just some extra throwaway stuff, filler-wise, that you know me. I don't fill in a lot of those things, so I'm going to skip it. But I did use this piece for I Spy. The prompt was a piece that has at least 2 candy corn colors, and we have the orange and the yellows in here. So I thought that was a perfect piece for that. I think I have a few more, at least 3 more I Spy prompts to go. I was a little slow on the uptake with some of them this month, but that's all right. So we will see. I mean, I have till next Friday. If I get a chance, pull out those 2 flosses, do that little piece, and this one will be done. Yay! And then I'd have only 2 left that have not been finished. I believe it's July and September, right? I think. So, all right, so this next piece, I said, you know what? I'm pulling this out because of Katie. Katie is, her Flosstube is Jeremiah's mom, and She has a lovely floss tube and stitches some wonderful things. And she said that I inspired her to start this. She gently blamed me. We won't say harshly blamed, just gently. And she enjoys stitching Halloween anyway, so that's just, and Jardin Prive. Katie and I are the ones that are doing a lot of the gnomes together. And so this is Happy Halloween Pumpkin Party. So I said, well, Katie is doing it. I need to pull it out. I don't think it really got much work this October, so it needed some work. So I pulled it out. That's what it's going to look like. I am debating on adding the words pumpkin party. I might like flip the bat and do something with it. Find a way to put the bird on maybe over here on the pumpkin. I don't know yet. I'm debating on that part. That'll be the last thing I worry about. These pumpkins are beautiful, but they are intense. So I did 2 different types of things this week. When I had stitched all of this, it had been wrong. And it's taken me forever to pull it out. Last time you would have seen it, most of it was pulled out, but there was still bits of it. And I couldn't make use of that. I was hoping I could. And it took me ages and ages to pull it out. So once I did, I restitched all of that. So that is, if it's not correct, it's close enough at this point. And then I decided this pumpkin here, you're going to see that is repeated over here. And I wasn't sure I was in the right mental space for that. So I decided to do the white pumpkin. That one too has a beautiful design in it. However, it's a little easier, it was easier for me to follow. And I said, well, that needs to get some work. So I worked, there was some of this middle here, but all of that coming down had to be done as well. This is 18 count Ice Queen from Bestitchme. And that was the same fabric that October's Marigold happened to be on as well. Thought it's kind of a fun fabric for these kind of seasonal kind of things in the autumn. So that's what that one looks like. So Katie, thank you for giving me that extra push to pull this one out. Again, however, since we're hitting the end of the month and there are other things to stitch, I don't know if it'll get any more time this month, but it's certainly not going to be forgotten. I think for next year, when I do my whip parades, I try to give myself some goals. It's a bit lofty because this green pumpkin is pretty big too, but I think I'm going to give myself a kind of a lofty goal of getting this one finished next year. We'll see. It is not in Pattern Keeper. It is, I made a working copy, and I'm finally utilizing kind of like I put my working copies on a document holder, a metal one, and I finally got myself a metal, kind of flexible metal ruler, and so I'm able to kind of go line by line, and that's been helping a bit with the pumpkin. So I think now that I figured that out, maybe they'll go a little bit faster. Okay, so this next piece, you're going to see a couple of sampler holidays. The first one is Halloween, and this is from Blueberry Ridge. And this is another piece that I started with Mary. Mary and I really do like both Pansy Patch and Blueberry Ridge, so we have quite a few of these on the go together or planned for future stitching together. And here we go. That's where I've gotten. So let me hold it back and then I'll bring it forward. I am using another Stitchy Stuff Co. variegated floss on this one, and I'm really liking it. What's it called? I am a big fan of Stitchy Stuff Co. She's got some lovely stuff. Her colors are nice, quite nice. This is called Black Cherry, which it's kind of that, I wanted that deep kind of purple, and there's, again, slight variegation that you'll see maybe more in person than you'll see on the camera, and that's okay. I just really enjoy seeing it as is. So as I've been doing, I tried to do more border, because again, on these Pansy Patch and Blueberry Ridge, the borders are a thing, and I'm not sure if it would look as cohesive if I didn't put the borders on, because I'm willing to throw out a border with the best of them. If you know Kim from Contented Needleworker Kim, borders are optional. So let me write down. So you never know if you're going to get a border with Kim, and that can be the case with me sometimes. But I have resigned myself to pretty much all of these ones. I think the border really kind of helps, so I will do them. So I did border on this side and border on this side, and then I think I did the moon. I did quite a bit, actually, as a relative term, right? Quite a bit for me this week versus quite a bit for me a month ago would have been very different. But that's where it is. And again, I wanted to get a little bit of time in on it for this October. And again, for challenges, it will probably come out, but I don't foresee you seeing it next week because I think I might do some other smalls if I'm going to pull out some repeats versus the bigger one. And I still have at least one new start planned for this coming week. We'll talk about in plans, possibly two. So there's more pumpkins to come and things to do yet before the end of the month. This is my start though. This is Pumpkin House and it's from Liz Matthews. Hello from Liz Matthews. I am not stitching the bottom part. I'm only doing what you see on the blue. And so if I go like that, I was inspired by that fabric choice. So I did pick something very similar. Now, the one thing I planned on getting more done than what you're going to see on this one. However, this is charted in, I want to say silks. I believe it's NPI silk. Now, Liz does offer a DMC alternative. So thank you for that. With even though it's the same color fabric, my choice of fabric, some of the colors that she used for a DMC alternative, like these here, that look kind of whitish to me, were quite yellow as the choice that she gave. The moon was a different color than what she gave. So I had pulled this out. I did pulled all the flosses and then realized, some of these just weren't going to work for me. I then looked up a NPI chart to DMC, wrote that down, and then pulled out my DMC book and threw everything down and looked very closely at this picture. I'm not sure yet about the pumpkins. I just stayed up here for now to kind of figure things out. When I get going on the pumpkins, so this is all I've got, to be honest with you. I did get 200. I do like to start at least 200 before I show it to you, but I struggled to get really much more than that. This was no brainer, but I kind of wanted to put some of the other stuff. You know me, I like to mix and match a border versus the pieces inside. Now on this one, I thought about how I wanted to do the border. I like this. I'll do straight, and then I'm going to do straight here as well. I am not going to do this design because I feel like that goes with this bottom part, and I'm not sure it would really work under the house if I did the repeat of this design. So once the top here is done, then it's just straight lines for border, which depending on how I finish it, even scrapbooking can be difficult with those straight lines. So we'll see if I'm giving myself more trouble. I don't know. It probably would look silly if I just did this top border with anything else. I don't know. We'll see. So anyway, I did that, but then I had to take a huge long break before I could do anything else. And I did get the moon, and some of the stars are the same color as the moon. And so I got that in to see if I liked my choice, and I did. It is a little bit brighter than what's here, but the DMC alternative was definitely more brown, and I didn't care for that for my piece. So that's all I got. We'll see if I do more this week. Again, it depends. The other thing I may take out are these spiders. I'm not a huge spider fan, to be honest with you, in real life. I don't have an objection to them, and I don't have a phobia where I wouldn't stitch them. I like cute spiders. Like the October Marigold had a really adorable little spider, so I was fine with that. Gothic bat has one that's not too bad, but these I wasn't loving these. So I might, if there's a big empty space where a spider should be, I might do another star here or there and mix and match. So that might be a change, you'll see. This fabric that I chose is 18 count devoted Dobbin, and it's from Those Missing Stitches. And again, variegated, maybe not that stark, but it's very pretty kind of blue, and I thought it would work really well for this piece, similar to whatever was chosen as the called for. So I have had this sitting in my to start pile for October for the last, I think this is the third year potentially. When is this? Let's see if I can access copyright easily. 2022. It's at least been on the potential since 2023. So I was like, this is the third year. It needs to get started. I had pulled the DMC not realizing that I'd have to do some color changes at the time. So that kind of threw me for a loop when I decided to start it this week, but that's okay. I think I've got it under control now, and I think we're in a good place. All right, this one was a complete whim. Just felt like pulling it out because, and that is Ruskin's Penguins from Modern Folk Embroidery. I mean, it's just so cute. I am doing the majority of the border here before I do those penguins and most of the words. I did a little bit of the words and the white, one, because I wanted to see the white on this fabric, which I think looks fantastic, and two, I was bored one day and did a few of the words just cause. But that was done long ago. I did focus on border, and I'm telling you, once I get that border done, I think it's going to zip through. Whoops. I chose kind of a different bolder color, tealish, because I just was feeling that for this kind of vibe, and I love it. This is 18 count Mermaid's Dream from To Die For Fabrics, and this piece is only 2 colors, black and white. And I completely finished all of this down here. I had this inside border to do. This entire bottom border had to be done, and then I started to kind of bring across this as well. It took me a while to figure out the routine. So this first one kind of went really slow and maybe partway on the sides until I really kind of got into a groove with it. And so now I can pull it out, do 200-300 stitches, and kind of go in a kind of a pattern that I've figured out. So that's where it is. Obviously, probably a few more sessions of border stitching to do on black, and then the white will be, all of that has to be filled in. Oh no, that side is. This side will have to be filled in, and down here. And then a couple bits on the corners. But that will be, this is one of the few times that I decided I was really going to just go ahead and do the border. And I can tell you right now, I was saying a couple of please, please, please prayers for that section right there, because I was pretty sure it was going to meet up, and I thought, well, if it doesn't, I might be able to fudge it. But see how these make some really nice diagonal straight lines? So then I was like, oof, maybe I couldn't fudge it. However, we didn't have to, so that was a big win on that part. And this one comes out really sometimes for challenges and sometimes on a whim. It's just too cute. I am going to save the penguins for the very end though, because really, if I did them and didn't do other stuff, I wouldn't want to do anything else after that, because they are the stars. And so I figure they're gonna get done last. All right, and I have one more piece. So last week I had pulled out Christmas Band Sampler, and you know, I am heavily into autumn stitching right now. Pumpkins, autumn, those colors, those vibes. But I felt like I wanted to pull out something Christmas last week. I did it again this week, and I think each week you might see a Christmas piece. Actually, next week you will, because my start yesterday was a Christmas piece. But this time around, I was feeling the vibe for the Sampler Holidays Christmas. Mary and I again started this one, I believe, in July, for kind of that Christmas in July vibe. Mary is doing it traditionally, as you see here, and it's beautiful, her choices. I went completely out in left field on this one. I was feeling like I wanted something that was just a different Christmas vibe altogether. And I was feeling pink and teal. And after tests of different colors of floss and figuring out what kind of pink and what kind of teal, this is what I ended up with. Let me go back a bit. It's not a hugely, oh, that's just fuzz. Okay. I got worried that there was a stain down here. It might be a little bit pinker in real life, but it is not a strong pink. It's a pale pink. It's 18 count Doting Dora from, actually I shouldn't have to say 18 count, right? From Those Missing Stitches. I can't remember. I think this might have been a this year's piece. I don't remember when Lynn introduced it. And then I chose DMC 3810. I did a couple of swatch tests down here of different colors of those DMCs. I thought about, did I want a variegated, but I decided I did not. I kind of wanted to just lean into this pink and teal vibe. And again, borders, right? So I extended some of this border, extended some of this border. We got the bird in with the start of a tree here, kind of a funky looking tree. And then, you know, there's always like small elements. Oh, and I also did do this ornament, I believe, too. So I got quite a bit done on this one last week when I was working on it. It was probably the piece that got the most stitches out of any of them this week. So I was really pleased with the progress. I mean, this is obviously large. Somebody did ask me, was I going to do the entire thing? Because I'd be known to just do this, right? However, I really like these elements, and I don't mind letters and things like that. I just don't always stitch them, right? Because I like to pick and choose. But I think this time I am going to. So it's a fairly large piece, 149 by 172. So they're showing it on 36 count, which would be 8.3 by 9.6. So not the biggest piece I've got, but certainly a solidly sized piece. And that's where it is. So hopefully before Christmas, you'll see this come out again. Like I said, you'll see at least one Christmas next week from yesterday's start, maybe more depending on my feelings. And then Christmas band sampler, I think I would like to make that my 25/7, 100 stitch a day, whatever you want to call it, piece for December, and see if we can not get it for finish. And then I couldn't remember, did I show you this year? I'm not sure. I did a quick look through, but I was looking on my phone and I couldn't tell what pieces were behind me. So if this is a repeat, well, we're just seeing it again. If not, this is a hands-on design piece. I went rogue with the fabric. I think these are all done. The season ones were done on black. And I know this is a company that no longer dyes. They stopped dying, I think, when COVID started. So I'm not even gonna bother trying to figure out who it is, but it's just a beautiful color. And that meant I did need to change colors of quite a few things. If you remember, I struggled with the leaves. So I ended up actually making die cut leaves from paper and putting them there rather than stitching them. I had stitched, I think it's up here if you were to look close, at least twice leaf, and I just didn't like the color choices I was making. And so in the end, it was kind of like too stressful, right? And I thought, well, I have these cute little dies. I'll use the same colors, and I did that. So we did that. We have a ribbon, not a ribbon, a sticker trim up top. This is a die cut that I actually, I don't know if you can tell, I put mounting tape on it. So it's straight here, but then mounted with mounting tape here so that, you know, we've got a little dimension down there as well. So that piece came from the scrapbook. And I really, really like it. I don't know. I mean, obviously back when I started this would have been, boy, well, if we're talking how before COVID, I would have started this one, you know, 2020 maybe. And I had the fabric. I might not have started it until 2020 at some point. And my visions was just, visions? Is that a plural? You know how were and are and all that, plural versus singular, as a group or whatever? Well, my vision was, I'll say was, to do all of them. But this one had such extensive changes that it kind of put me off in the sense of, I'm going to take a huge break and we'll see if I ever want to do any more. But this one was lovely. It was fun. And I mean, obviously all the white was easy to stitch. So, but I do like that one quite a bit. I might have to leave that out in the studio here, or in the craft room, whatever you want to call it, for the rest of the week. Just for actually this one, that could go all the way through Thanksgiving, really, because it's more harvest than it is Halloween. Alrighty, so that is that for the stitching. What are my plans? Like I said, I have a couple more, at least one pumpkin birthday stitch along start to do, and I didn't bring it over. It's Glenda from Glenda's something, Glenda's Garden maybe, from Artsy Housewife. It's over in the other area where I stitch. So I do want to start that this week, and then we'll see. There's a possibility of another one as well. That'll be it for Pumpkin Birthday, I believe. Who knows? Something fabulous may drop into my lap and I might say, let's do it. I think I'm at something like 9 starts for the month this month, which is probably my highest start month, but I don't care. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun, and they don't get finished if they don't get started. So besides that, this weekend in Whip Warriors is the riff off. So that's exciting. They did give us the starting word, and then you riff off of that. What my weekend will look like for stitching, who knows? I don't know if it's supposed to be nice this weekend. It was beautiful last weekend, beautiful autumn weekend. So we'll see what that brings, and if we're out and about, how much with the dog we do, all of that, or if we're in and how much time I can give to that. Then November, what am I doing in November? I'm starting to look towards it. And of course, I always like to, if I remember, try to tell you because, in case you want to join. So I know you're going to be shocked when I tell you that Mary and I are going to stitch this piece here. This is Sampler Holidays Thanksgiving from Blueberry Ridge. We are determined to stitch all of the samplers. And I am going to stitch, I think Mary has an idea for her floss. I don't know my fabric yet. It will be probably a deepish tan, not as this color, but more of a deep tan. I'm thinking, you know, no, I can't reach it. You know, the crow, no, yeah, crow in the pumpkin, that tan, that might work here. But I really like this floss, which is a DMC kind of variegated, 4130. I thought that would be fun. This is stitched in a Gloriana silk, red clay. And they give you 6 different DMCs that you can mix and match because the silk is highly variegated, from reds to yellows to browns and olive greens. And so, but I thought I kind of liked this variegation, and I would just kind of go with it that way. I think that's the plan on this one. I just don't have the fabric picked. And I believe Mary and I are going to start this on November 1st, if you'd like to join us. I'll know more next week because that'll be next Saturday. So if we're starting it, we'll be starting it the next day. Then I pulled out, I just wanted to see what page to show you. Kind of in the Thanksgiving vibe. I stitch anything, anytime, you know that. This is the Just Cross Stitch, I think it's this year, right? The Autumn 2025 piece. So that's this one right here. Oh, and I can just show you right here. It's the cover piece. I kind of wanted to stitch this without the alphabet. So this is one of those cases where I would take that out, and hopefully I can do the border, this top border, and just put it over here and not do the alphabet. But I thought that turkey was cute. I really like the vibe of that tree. It reminds me of Betsy's Autumn. I like the word Season of Thanks and all of that. So don't know when I would start this one. Probably nearer to the start of the month. The last few years, I've stitched like little turkeys to make like little mini make turkey ornaments to have kind of like a little kind of turkey tree, where I could stitch that and put it on the tree and then just have all of this as well. But we'll see. I do kind of like that. So that's a thought right there. When it will be started, I don't know. Have you stitched it? I'd love to know if you're stitching it right now or already got it done. Who knows? And then the other start that I plan, and I don't know when we are starting it. My friend here in Delaware, Beth, who lives 10 minutes from me, we are going to start, I think it's it's Vintage Rose Needleworks. It might be Jingle All the Way. Vintage Arts Needleworks Vintage Rose. I'll put it under the shopping section because I just bought it. I bought the PDF. I'll put it underneath shopping. Vintage Quaint Rose Needleworks. That might be it, actually, now I'm thinking it. Quaint Rose Needleworks. Jingle All the Way. I happened to just check it this morning. She's got a sale going on right now. I think it was 30. This piece is 30% off. I don't know when Beth and I are starting it, and I don't know. I might go, I know you'd be shocked. I might go blue, although I'd have to make sure that those colors vibe with it. but we are planning on starting that. And then I'm not sure, this is so cute. I love this guy. I'm not sure if I would do this section down here or just have him, I don't know if I'd even have him standing on anything or just doing a line across. I don't know yet. I'll start from the top, which is what I generally do. And I might start from the top middle and work my way down and then make my decision at the end on that. But that's getting started this November as well. Specific date to be determined. I think Beth and I are going to stitch together on Monday. However, I don't think I'll be ready to stitch it then, start it then. So we'll just have to get together more than once in November, Beth. All right. Those are the plans. Potentially, I Spy, I've got almost all of the prompts ready to go for November. So if you're interested, keep an eye out for that. And then I did mention, and I was hoping I'd have it done, but again, dog time, I didn't get a chance to. I'm doing a variation of something I did last year. So I'm really inspired by the, you've got Whip-Go, which is a bingo game, and then you've got Bringo and AB Singo. So Whip-Go is from Jessie Marie, does stuff. That's her brainchild. And then Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch, they kind of jumped off of that and created these wonderful bingo games that they do as pop-ups in their Facebook group. And so last November, I did my own kind of bingo pop-up thing. I'm just going to show you the picture real quick. I'm changing it though. So I used the word, I kind of did a play on Thanksgiving, and I put giving up here and thanks down there. Because, I'm very big on, trying to work with gratitude and finding things every day to be grateful for. And so I thought, well, that's perfect in November. There's sometimes 30 days of gratitude and all of that. So what I did is, because it's giving thanks is 36 squares, I'm changing it this year. I'm going to give myself 30 of the squares will be numbered 1 to 30, and they'll be stitching prompts. So there'll be 6 squares that are not going to be numbered, that are different things that, and I'm going to use this as a guideline from last year, different things to do to show gratitude. I'm just going to do, let me see here, thank someone who, for something that they did for me that I might not have done, do a gratitude meditation, compliment somebody. Sometimes, sometimes just that kind of little bit of compliment will brighten somebody else's day. And I'm grateful for so many of you that that's a simple thing I can do. Or maybe send a card to somebody to say how grateful I am. In my calendar for stitching, I do every day. I try to do something I'm grateful for, whether it's big or small or tiny or silly or whatever. And so I want to make sure making sure that's completely done. So I'm going to come up with 6 of those. Those will also be as squares. They'll be the 6 extra squares. Those I'm going to choose to do any time of the month that feels good and right for me to do. And then for the 30 days of the month, I'm just going to pick a number, and then whatever prompt is assigned to that number is what I'll do. If you would like to join me, I'd be happy to once I have all of that set. I was hoping to have the page all done in my journal this today, but again, didn't happen. I'm happy to send you information on what I've done, maybe a picture of what it looks like, and then you can pick your own 6 prompts of things you'd like to do this month that are special and have to do with this, this season of giving or gratitude. Or you can just do 6 more stitching things and kind of do whatever you want with it. It's really up to you. But that will take every day of, and I'm doing like just 100 to 200 stitches, nothing major for me. I know for some of you, 100 stitches, if you are extremely, extremely busy, could be 3 days. And you're awesome. If your life is so busy and you only get that little bit in, I'm so glad you get some in. But that is going to be kind of a focus. I may not even do the acrostics next month, which I really do enjoy, but I'm kind of reevaluating the last month or two because of other things going on. I did them, but I didn't give them my full oomph, and enjoyment. So that may ebb and flow there too, with that. But that's something I'm kind of getting ready for this week. And obviously we'll be ready to rock and roll next week. But if you're interested, let me know. I want to try to at least through the weekend get that possibly set and ready in place to go. I have lots of plans this weekend. We'll see how many of them come to fruition. All right. So what else happened? what kind of things came in the mail. I have two, and this, I'm suspect now we are at the very end of our trading card collection, right? That's come in for this swap, which means it won't be this week before Halloween. Early November, I'm hoping to do a show and tell for you. That also gives one extra week in case some things have gotten slow in the mail. Mandy, yours came in, and Brenda D, yours came in. So thank you very much. I got those two this week. Every week, if I've gotten them, I've said them. And every one that's come in, I have said. If I have not, if you've watched and I've never said your name, reach out. You know, I will do another check. Maybe somehow I missed it, or we just know to look out for it in the mail. And then, gosh, was it yesterday? Was it yesterday or the day before? A package came from through the mail, and you know, it's kind of one of those packages, and I'm thinking to myself, what did I get? What did I get? I don't know what I got. I had no idea what I had ordered. Do you get those moments where you're like, oh boy, this is a good size. I don't know what I got. Well, it turned out a very wonderful, wonderful Stitchy friend had sent me a gift, and I wanted to thank you. We're going to chat because you are just amazing. And I wanted to show, this was just amazing. This individual sent me some charts and then sent me some project bags, which I have been, you know, for holidays, that's what I've been getting, right? Get me a project bag. I'll show you which one you want to get, and this and that. Mo, I just say, you're ordering this, this, and this. He's like, okay. And that's like, you know, birthday gifts or whatever. So that's how I've been collecting my project bags and stuff. So this is amazing. So thank you very much. But there's some charts for the shore, and then obviously something for the pumpkin birthday. But this is really nice. Hindsight, and it's shell seekers, and then there's some little charms to go with it too, because you put them in there. So I thought that was really kind of cute. I'd never seen that before, so that's neat. Then from Kitten Bixby, a Morningstar Cottage by the Sea. Isn't that cool? That's very neat. Then we have from Teresa Lehman Designs, My Cottage by the Sea. This would be nice to live at this cottage. I don't live this close to the ocean. I'm about a 10-minute drive. But you could just watch the sailboats go by. That's beautiful. I've not heard of Teresa Lehman Designs before, so that's kind of neat. Something new for me. In fact, Kitten Bixby, I have a chart, but I've never stitched from them or Hindsight. These first three were all new to me, which is really kind of cool. And then I don't have this, but I've thought about it. The Tiny Modernist Nutcracker Tree. I have, stitched one fully. I've got two on the go. And I just love the Tiny Modernist trees. So this is wonderful. And then from Blackbird Designs, Pumpkin Farm. Isn't that beautiful? And Jack's Urn from Kathy Barrick. Those are just beautiful. Thank you so much. And I'm already planning my 2026 pumpkin birthday stitch along now. So thank you very much. And then we have some beautiful project bags. Some from Barefoot Needle Arts, and then a couple from the Disorderly Stitcher. And I do have one from Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, but I've never had a project bag from Barefoot Needle Arts, and they're beautiful. Look at this awesome, isn't that beautiful? I'm going to say the word all together. We have the charm, but I just, anything sea and ocean, and I love these vibrant, bright colors. It's almost like mermaid scale there. That's fantastic. I just love that as well. And, that's where the card is good. I wanted to keep that. Then this beautiful one. Again, these beautiful, vibrant, bright colors. I love fuchsias and purples and blues. And I love every color out there, to be honest with you. And then a cute little charm there. Now this one's kind of cool. This is like a, listen for the noise for a second, but it's a Velcro top. Isn't that pretty? And this is fantastic. I'm going to put the project tag like that in there for now. fabric. Again, oceany. I've never seen fabric like this before on a project bag. That's so cool. And then the last one from Barefoot Needle Arts, we have pumpkins with a little pumpkin. And then Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher. I've gotten a full length cloth from Nancy. Nancy always gives project cards with her bags. I've never done a vinyl, and so that's really kind of neat. And of course we have a cute little frog, and these colors just scream autumn. I love them. When you put oranges and reds with brown, I mean, brown itself can be kind of a sad color in some, cases or whatever, or a misunderstood color. And with those colors, it's vibrant and phenomenal. And then this patchwork piece, which mine is not, that I am amazed at the amount of work that this must take. Awed, actually. And that wonderful inside, and then the fabric on the back. Nancy, you are incredibly talented. Vintage Needle Arts, you are not vintage. Barefoot Needle Arts, excuse me. You are incredibly talented. I am blown away by people who are so talented with the sewing machine. I'm lucky I can make X's, to be perfectly honest with you. And then a wonderful friend sent me the Whip Warriors 2026 diary for challenges. And so in conjunction with my 2026 challenge journal, I'll be able to use this, which is so much fun because I do enjoy Whip Warriors. I enjoy incorporating them into my other stitching. This is something that is available on Amazon if you are interested. This year they have a big size and a little size, and I adore this little size. It is perfect. As you can see, this year's challenge journal is this size, and next year's will be too. And so look at how close they are in size. So they're going to be perfect together, and I'll be able to keep all of my challenge stuff in those places. So thank you, friend. This Mo got the mail, and he yelled up, "You got something from," and I didn't ask if I could say the name. So that was very nice of you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that quite a bit. So thank you, everybody. Shopping. Fabric of the month came in from Fabrics by Stephanie. If you do not want to see it, please look away. It is called, it's one of those names. You know how fabric hand dyers, they really like to test us with these names. I'm going to go with Gillis. I'm not sure. Look away if you don't want to see. You know I get 18 count. I'm going to show you the name. And then I'm going to open it up for you to see. No idea what I'm stitching on it, but it is, as usual, Stephanie's fabrics are beautiful. And then you saw the Jingle All the Way chart. And then I did get my Just Cross Stitch Christmas issue in. So again, another plan. Hopefully, I've looked through it once. I'd like to do a flip through, but you know my flip throughs, I sit there and I study and I go over and we think about what's going to happen. So there's at least 2 or 3 more flip throughs that are going to happen in my own brain over the next couple days. And then once I put all my notes out and all of that, we'll have a chat about this magazine. So I'm looking forward to doing that and just kind of perusing it and thinking about it, and then kind of sharing my thoughts with you and having a dialogue with you about your thoughts about it too. So that's coming. Look for that maybe next week if everything goes to plan. And that was it for shopping. I was kind of looking. I have not gotten... Carolyn Manning has a humongous 60% off sale this month of October. And there was a section of charts from Tales from the Garden that were very pretty. And so I have not done any shopping yet, but I mean, 60% off. That is a phenomenal deal. So I'm thinking I'm going to go through and things that I would potentially like, and then I have them in my back pocket if I would like to start them. So I might do a little bit of shopping there on her site. And then I did a very small order at 123 Stitch because I knew there was something I wanted to get, and I wanted to get more of these because I don't know how many I need. Plus I'll use them for other things, the DMCs. And I think I picked up a Threadworks. Not much. So that's coming probably this week. We'll see. So that's it for shopping. That's it for stitching. That's all of that part. So if you have to head out, oh gosh, I am rambling away today. Then thank you so much for being here. I will try to keep it quick for life stuff. This past weekend was a very busy weekend. It was beautiful. The best autumn fall weather you could have every single day. It was warm, it was sunny, it was, kind of that autumn warm, like in the 70s. And I actually needed to sunscreen and all of that. But we had a full house. The kids were all here. Saturday morning, they all came Friday night late. And then Saturday morning was a pickleball event that was to raise money for breast cancer awareness. And yay, $1,000 was raised that day. And I think a bit more came in after that. So that's phenomenal. And so everybody wore pink. I think it was called Dink for Pink. I can't remember what dink means in pickleball, but it's a pickleball term. And so Mo and Liz played pickleball, and then I went down, and Meg and I went down with Bella, and Con was catching up on sleep and stayed there. But so obviously Bella, we're trying to get her used to people. Some people she was not sure about, and others she's like, they're kind of like you, and she's kind of learning and this and that. So that was good. The noise didn't bother her at all, because there was music and people were, in happy, good spirits. And if you've ever been around pickleball, I mean, that makes a noise too every time it hits. And none of that bothered her in the least, which is great. I'm hoping that's good when we have like fireworks or thunderstorms and stuff. But so that was so much fun. And we chilled out, back and forth over the weekend. And then Sunday, in Rehoboth Beach, there is a yearly block party put out by an organization called Camp Rehoboth. It is so much fun and so phenomenal. And so we went down to that on Sunday. And again, we did not bring Bella on that because there's a lot of people. You're walking, and Bella is in heat. So I was able to, there wasn't maybe one dog she was exposed to on Saturday morning, and I kept her away. But down at downtown, I wouldn't have been able to really, it wouldn't have been fair to her and been scary. And so we didn't bring her. We were trying to do short crating sessions anyway, kind of getting her used to being in the crate if we have to go out. She does sleep at night in a crate, but also during the day, we want to kind of get her a little bit. Or if Mo's out and I have to jump in the shower and she's not potty trained yet, she's got to be able to go in her crate and things like that. So it was a chance to do some of that training with her as well as go out. And again, great time, wonderful. One night we did takeout to kind of celebrate my birthday since nobody be here for the actual day. So that was a lot of fun. This week was kind of like just doctory stuff. I got my COVID shot. I did it on Monday thinking, okay, this way if I'm down a little bit for the few days, but I was not actually this time around. I did pretty good and did not feel kind of funky like I have in previous sessions. And then I had a checkup with my doctor on Wednesday for, your yearly stuff. So we had that and things like that, but everything went well. And I stitched with friends yesterday on Zoom. So it was the best way to spend the birthday. Mo has been swamped at work this week. He took last week off, kind of the first week with the dog. So he really, this week was just slammed. But we did take out last night. So this way we didn't have to cook, and it was delicious. And so it was a, low-key celebration. We had done all of that over the weekend. So I miss Bella. I'm lovingly referring to her a little bit as a brat because she is fearless. She's discovered that she likes to jump. So she's a little dog, 10 pounds, small to the ground, jumping over everything, jumping on everything, the whole bit, wanting to go to the backs of couches and go flying off. So, needless to say, there's only so many things we can block from her. And she's very attached to Mo. So if Mo is going somewhere and she can jump off a couch to get to him, that's all the better. So needless to say, we're working on that. We're working on chewing. We got the little spray and we spray, and she's kind of like, that's not bitter to me at all. So we're still working on the chewing part and the potty training. That's going to be a little bit longer because, she's 10 months and she was not trained as she should have been for this kind of potty training. If she was going to be in a home with individuals. So it's a little work in progress, but we're hopefully down to maybe like 1 or 2 accidents a day versus all day long. So we're getting there. But she throws a temper tantrum if she can't be with Mo. So we're still working on that as well. Because he is her person, and which is fine. I said to him, I spent, I don't know how many, 12 years not being able to go to the bathroom without a little dog following me, right? Because I was his person. So I'm fine if she has attached to him, but she needs to be able to function if he's not around. So I'm the one feeding her now. I figure this way, if I'm the one giving her her food, she'll at least know that I do something good with her. So that's where we are with that. Still working. Everything is half done, right? Because you've got to make sure you're still watching the dog and this and that, and we're getting there. We're getting there, but I'm hoping when Thanksgiving comes around and we have an even fuller house than we had this past weekend, things will be good, because the more people there are, it's actually harder, like with the training part, because you get distracted and we don't know where she is. And there was a certain rug that she had taken a shining to, thinking that's where I was going to do all of my business. So that's now up in the attic and not on the floor anymore. So we took that away from her. And so we'll see what happens. But I'm sure there'll be lots of adventures to talk about from here on out. But that's it. That's all I got. I have no clue what's going on this weekend. I have no idea what's going on next week. Oh, except for stitching with a friend on Monday afternoon. So we'll just take it as it comes. But I am so glad, if you're still here, that you have hung out with me. I so appreciate it. I hope you got lots of stitching in. That's always a plus if you're here with a longer video. I know I do. When people have longer videos, I'm like, oh yeah, I got lots of stitching in. But my friends, I hope you're well. I hope you are safe. I hope that you know, and if you don't, I'm telling you that you matter and you are important. Please, 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 always remember that. Let that light that is within you, that special part that is you, shine out, because it's just so important. You are. So I want to see that. We want to see that. We want to see that special you come out and just be you. All right. So until next time, happy stitching.